Streamers are obsessed with average view count. They are obsessed with it, all right? And even the streamers who prioritize things like enjoyment or maybe some other statistics like girth, at one point, they cared massively about average view count. They obsessed over the number, all right? For many big streamers, it is their whole self-worth. I know streamers who were at 40,000 viewers who go down to 30,000 viewers. They're at 15,000 viewers, they go to 10,000 viewers. They're at 8,000 viewers, they go down to 6,000 viewers, and they're sad about it because that's how much value they put in to that average view count number. But if you're going to be one of the biggest streamers in the world, you do need to care about that number. There's a lot of things you can do to impact that number. There's a lot of things out of your control. It's not a healthy relationship you will ever fucking have with it, but it is also, at the end of the day, the most important statistic that determines whether or not you'll be the biggest ever doing it. Now, I thought this one was interesting. I asked them, do they look at their view count while streaming? I do. I've been Hawkeyeing it this whole stream. It's been going up the whole time. That means I'm generally doing a good job. 2/3 say yes, 1/3 says no. And I think it's a preference thing, right? I wouldn't put too much stock into this. And probably the people who said yes to looking at the view count while streaming are the same people who said average view count is the most important metric. But I just want to put some gravity onto the average view count number. Don't become obsessed with it. Don't become psycho. You know, don't let it ruin your life, I guess is what I should say. But
Deadpool and Wolverine. She's coming with us.
No, she's not.
Oh, yes.
But be aware. You don't have to know it while you're live. You can look at it after. You can even look at it after a week or a month and look at the charts and see how it does for games. But know it. Know your stream. Know what people like, know what people don't like. I talk about this a lot. Everyone falls off. Now, it's a little funny to talk about how everyone falls off in a video about how to be a streamer. You haven't even made it yet, and I'm talking about how you're about to fall off. But it's true. And in these videos, I talk a lot about the how to make the sausage, the how to be a big streamer, the what happens if you do become a big streamer. But the reality is you're gonna fall off. You're gonna quit. Even if you fucking make it. Even if you watch this video and in 5 years you're like, let me watch your video, I'm the biggest streamer in the fucking world. In 10 years, 20 years, you're gonna be like, I watched your video, I was the biggest streamer in the world and now I fell off. So while you're here, while you're making shit, you might as well make something you care about. And in the past, I haven't focused on this enough. But it is truly all that matters. It is literally all that matters, is making something you care about. If you're making shit that is an antithesis to your being and what you like and what matters or what you think is cool, like what's the fucking point in that? You know? Leave a mark. Be someone who makes shit they're proud of. I promise you, I have seen the heights that some streamers have hit, and then they start to fall off a bit, and then they're fucking depressed. But you wouldn't be depressed if you were proud of what you made. If the only thing that matters is the success, then you will guaranteed be sad in the long term. If the only thing that matters is making something you care about, then truly, the only way you fail is if you don't make something you care about. And so with that thought, I got some final steps. If you've already gone through the process, you've gone live at least once, you just tried it out. You wrote down your goals, your inspiration, all that. If you're at this point, congratulations. I got one more thing I need you to do. In the thought of making something you're proud of, if you really want to graduate and become a baby, if you really want to graduate and become a big streamer, I want you to show off your work. If you are not willing to show friends and family the shit that you make, you are not serious about what you're making. And this is a very scary thing to do. This is a fucking terrifying thing to do. A lot of people try to keep their stream life separate from the regular life, so people at school don't know or their family doesn't know. But if you're not proud enough of the shit you're making that you won't sit on the couch and watch a video with your mom or sister or brother or whoever, or you won't Discord message a friend that you've talked to for years who fucking loves you, the shit that you're making, it is disrespectful in my mind to post that publicly expecting other people to watch. If you expect other people who don't give a shit about you to watch the thing that you won't even show the people who love you to watch, I find that disrespectful. And it's scary. But if you're willing to do that step and you take that leap, you'll be in such a better place. You'll be in such a better place, man. Because you'll be at the point where you're already making stuff that you're proud of. And if you're not, and they're like, hey, this fucking sucks, then you know. And you can get to that point quicker. That'd be amazing. How amazing would that be if someone who loves you could just tell you, like, hey, man, this thing actually isn't good. You know, you could work on it, change it, do it better. That's great to know. It's going to shatter your fucking ego, or it can lift you up. It's scary. Do it. Show off your work. I do this to this day. If I make a video that I think's really fucking cool, I send it to my family in France. They don't speak English, but I think if it's really cool, it will cross the language barrier. So when I did my story time when I went to France, I sent it to them. But also when I made the video learning an opera in Italian, I sent it to them because I wanted to share it with them. I thought they'd fucking love it. And they did. It was cool. I'm proud of that video. And that, in conclusion, is my Ultimate Streaming Guide 2.0. Thank you very much for watching. A couple things, if you're still here and you want to stick around, if you watch the video all the way through, hey, subscribe. Follow my Instagram. Become a member if you want. And also, make shit you're proud of. That's, at the end of the day, all that matters. Okay, man? Make shit you are proud of. We got a short amount of time on this earth. Let's not waste it making shit we don't care about.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan podcast by night, all day.
What's up, Sean Strickland? What's happening? We made it happen.
I made it,
What's
bro.
up?
I'm finally pseudo-famous enough to be on the Rogan podcast. Fucking let's go.
You're pretty famous after Saturday night. Hey, how's your eye?
Oh, man, the guy was
Still
trying,
pretty red.
The guy was trying to fucking salute his Fuhrer, bro. Fucking straight to the eye.
He's Russian. You can't say that. He only moved to Germany when he was 15.
So I tweeted out, like this tweet if you want to become a big streamer. And I tweeted this for two reasons. One, I wanted Twitter likes. Please follow me on Twitter, for the love of God. I don't have enough followers and I need more because bigger number equal better person. I'm only okay person. I want to be great person. Great person, 1 million, 1 million, big person, better person. And also, I was genuinely curious how many people want the job of a streamer. I remember Mr. Beast tweeted something similar maybe a few months ago about being a YouTuber, and it had hundreds of thousands of likes. I think people like the idea of being a streamer or YouTuber or content creator really in any fashion because, well, let's just be frank, it allows you to play video games for a living, make your own hours, and potentially make buku bucks. And so I thought it would be helpful if I imparted some of my knowledge to Twitch chat and to YouTube on how to make it as a streamer, at least as far as I know. I'm not the end-all authority on this. I really don't believe that I am, but I think that I've never really seen a big streamer talk about it, either because they don't want to, or most likely because they're just lazy and can play video games and get more viewers anyway than making a 20-slide PowerPoint presentation that probably took them a few hours and they misspelled a lot, and don't make fun of them for doing that. So that's what I did. And we're gonna take a look at it here today. All the knowledge I have rolled up into one PowerPoint presentation, and the PowerPoint presentation is called How to Make It Big as a Streamer. That is the entire goal of all this, is making it big as a streamer, you know, because it's not that fun to stream and not have viewers or not make money from it. So I get it. I get it. A lot of people want this job, and this is the start. Why listen to me? That's a fair question. Well, I'll tell you why. Growth. I'm now the 42nd biggest streamer on Twitch.tv. Not flexing, just stating facts. This is my chart line from Q1 of 2019 up until December of last year. And let me tell you, January, even better. Now, hey, I'm not the biggest. I'm not the brightest. I'm not the first, and I won't be the last. But I'm just a guy telling you what I've learned in my 2.5 years, almost 3, of being a streamer. So stick around. You might learn something. And while you're here, subscribe. Hey, it only takes a few seconds. You know, sometimes the YouTube algorithm will unsubscribe you. Maybe double check. Turn it from red to gray. I'd appreciate it. And let's get on with the show. With the first and most important part.
Do you know what just $10 can do for Team Biden-Harris? Well, $10 can help fund.
Do you want to be a streamer? That's it. That's how it starts. This is it. Now, maybe on the surface level, you'll be thinking, well, yeah, I want to be a streamer. Are you kidding me? I play video game, make millions of dollars, work on own hours? What? Yes, I want to be a streamer. Well, think about it a little bit deeper. Don't just think, do you want? think, why do you want? What do you want out of it? Let's just do a quick poll in chat. How many people want to be streamers? So it's like most people in this chat like the idea of being a streamer. All right, every single person who said yes, whether you said it to yourself or you voted, whatever it is, you need to do this right now. Write this down. This is not a joke. I'm being very serious. I want you to write this down. I know it's a bit corny. All right, try to do it on pen and paper. If you don't have it, you can do it on your phone notes and take a screenshot. But really, actually do this. Write this down. 3 things. First of all, if you want to be a streamer, when are you going to start? Set a hard start date when you're actually going to start. If you've already started, maybe this is the date that you're going to start your YouTube or start a new series or whatever it is. Just write some date where you're going to start achieving something you've been saying you're going to do. Number 2, write your goals for 1 year out. This can be for the start of 2022, maybe 1 exact year, maybe a few months. It doesn't really matter. All you need to do is have a set period of time and goals you would like to achieve by the end of that set period of time. Now, look, this is not your end goals. If you want to be the biggest streamer in the world, you don't have to write, I want to be the biggest streamer in the world by 2022. It's not really realistic. But you can write goals on the way to your final goal. And it's okay if you don't have everything figured out. At least write something down that you would like to do. And hey, this doesn't have to be numbers. Like, streaming doesn't necessarily imply you need to be a big streamer. Maybe your goal is just to make a community that you really like being a part of. Maybe it's just to record all of your Rocket League gameplay, in which case it's very easy to achieve your goals. Success isn't based on how big of a streamer you are. It's based off the goals you set and your ability to achieve them in a certain time frame. All right, that's what I think, at least. That's how I've done things, and that's what I'm telling you to do. It's my advice to you. And then the final thing to write down, 3 to 5 creators you want to emulate. Not necessarily that you like, because maybe you like Shroud, but you don't frag like Shroud frags. So write someone that you like that you think you could emulate. Here's an example of mine. I've done this. I know I'm being a bit corny, but this really happened. I did this in 2018. I wrote down all my goals. I didn't actually just do it for stream. I did it at New Year's. I did it for many different things in life, but these are my stream ones. I wanted to hit 2,000 subs, 100,000 followers, 1 million unique viewers. I want it to be punctual, and I want it to go full time. And I went 4 for 5. 4 for 5 is pretty good. That is pretty good. 4 for 5. We'll take 80%. That's a B-. That's a 3.0. Almost 2.667. Still pretty close. Still pretty close. At the end of the day, I was able to set goals and then hit them. I hit these goals by the end of 2018. And then I was able to keep going. Part of the reason you do this is because, hey, it's very obvious that streaming's not for everyone. It's also obvious that it's better to take a shot on something than to never try it and regret that. But how do you know how long to do it or what to do? Well, this does that all for you. If you write down your goals and you set a time frame to hit the goals in, then at the end of the period, right, at the end of next year, 2022, you can reflect. You could be like, hey, I went 0 for 5. My goal was to hit 100 average viewers and I'm at 15. Maybe I am not cut out for being a big streamer. And that's an honest conversation you can have with yourself, but only if you do the work now to set goals, to set a time frame, to understand it, rather than just kind of 9 to 5 grind. I just go live. I'm just doing my thing. I've been doing this since 2018. That's all shit. All right? At least set yourself some sort of time frame so you have some sort of growth and progression that you can accurately and objectively look back on. I've also put the 5 streamers that I liked and thought I could emulate. CD in the third, I think he was one of the best streamers, still is, in terms of integrating music. If you've ever thought, like, damn, Ludwig uses music well on stream, that's because CD in the third. Nick Merckx, he's great with his community, and he added stakes to every single Fortnite game. He taught me a bit about stakes. He taught me a lot about community. Soda, I've always thought was like the GOAT streamer. I thought he was like the best streamer. I know nowadays he just does whatever the fuck he wants, but I thought through and through, in terms of like, if you were to look at any streamer, I still think Soda Poppin' probably the GOAT. Clint, I thought his YouTube was some of the best shit. He was able to turn just random streams into really good YouTube videos, and he was very personable. But, you know, obviously I can't emulate Clint to a T. He has this ability that every single fucking human on earth just loves Clint Stevens no matter what. I don't have that. You can think I have that. I promise you I don't have that. And then finally, Mango, a man who has maybe 1,000 viewers, 2,000 viewers, but 10,000 subs. If you sub to him, unsub, and then resub 3 months later, this is true, Mango will remember, and he'll call it out. He'll be like, oh, Pirate Oliver, hey, you're a resub, aren't you? You used to sub like 3 months ago. And so his ability to remember made people, and he has this superpower, I truly believe, to make people feel so included, which sometimes involves making people feel very excluded so that everyone else feels included, but that's besides the point. That's my 5. If you didn't write anything down, but you want to be a streamer, this is the #1 best thing you can do. The absolute only lesson to take away from today if you want to make it big on Twitch. Quit. Fucking quit right now. That is my advice to you. Yeah. If you didn't even take the 1 to 2 minutes to write something down from a man who is a top 100 streamer who knows a thing or two, then I promise you, you will not make it through 0 1-viewer streams for 5-6 hours at a time. It's gonna be miserable. You're gonna hate it. It's not gonna be fun, and you're not gonna achieve your goals if you didn't even write them down in the first place. And this is not trying to be mean, but let's just take a guess. Chat, I want you to guess right now. Tell me the number of people who streamed last month. 50,000, sure. 650,000, wow. 5 million, okay, sure. Big range, it is 6.9 million. 6.9 million unique streamers every month. Streaming is not as it was in 2013. It is very well known, it is very mainstream, and it is very competitive. If you wanted to become the best employee at Walmart, the largest company in the world in terms of numbers of employees, you'd have to beat out 2.2 million people. That's just the numbers. That's just the facts. You'd have to be better bagger. You'd have to be a better stalker. You'd have to be better at accounting than 2.2 million Walmart employees. Then you'd be the best in the world. It is 3 times harder to do that on Twitch. And look, I know that some of these streams might only do it once and whatever, but at least you can try to gauge the numbers. Just for even more reference, there are 45,400 partners. Those are people who I would say have made it. And made it is loose because to be a partner, to apply, you only need 75 average viewers, which, you know, it's a good amount. And there's weird things that they do that they accept and don't accept. But at the end of the day, 0.66% of people make it here on Twitch. And so I had 20,000 people like my tweet on Twitter. And so mathematically, about 120, 150 people will make it. The other 21,000 XXX, peace, GG. It's just a fact. It is just a numbers game. And look, don't let that be too daunting to you because there are some pros. First of all, you make your own hours when you stream, and that's a good thing. That's really hype. You're your own boss. This, just for some reference, is how many hours I work. It's not insane. It's not as many as someone who's like a doctor or whatever, but I streamed this many hours, November, December, January, past 3 months. And I spent about 25 hours a month on YouTube. That's one, making thumbnails and titles, but mostly actually just looking at what works and trying to re-emulate that success. And then like 20 hours on business, whether it's like calls for sponsors or like when I do a stream on chess.com or whatever it is. I spend, I would say, roughly 200 plus hours a month. And then there's also the aspect that I'm always on. You know what I mean? Like, I have to have my phone and my Twitter notifications ready in case something big happens. Whether Corpse tweeted at me or they need an Among Us player. You know what I mean? Like, I just have to be available. I can never necessarily be off. But I'm about 200 plus hours a month. You don't have to be available. Sure, I don't necessarily have to, but I would lose out on growth if I'm not. And I think that part of the reason I'm successful is because I am available. And you'll see people like Carl Jacobs, who's blown up, doesn't matter if you like him or hate him. Carl Jacobs is blown up on Twitter and Twitch and every platform, and Carl has post notifications for every big YouTuber. So if they tweet, he sees it, he replies. People see him in the replies all the time. You'll see Carl on your timeline. I guarantee it. And it's because Carl is never off. He's always on. Yeah, maybe that's only an hour of Carl's day that he's on Twitter, but it's also an hour, 5 minutes from 9 till 9. You know what I mean? This is something to keep in mind. But you can make a lot of money. And this is how much streamers make. This is rough. I don't think we're allowed to say specific numbers. It goes against a contract. But roughly, if you average 100 viewers, I think you can expect to make about 1,500 on stream. Honestly, if you're a smaller streamer, the amount of money you will make will be higher because people like supporting smaller streamers, so you'll have more whales. It's kind of like a bell curve where people really like giving money to smaller streamers, and then middling streamers like 1,000 to 5,000, not so much, and then big streamers, they go back to being whales and stuff. But this is per month. This is monthly. I would say you make about 2,000 a month if you average 100 viewers. If you ever average 1,000, then you start making pretty good money. Honestly, I put negative here. I think you'd be losing money on YouTube at this point. You probably wouldn't be getting enough views, and then you're paying your editor. Please pay your editors, by the way. Okay? I don't care how much you love Bernie Sanders. You got to pay him. No offense. So you got to pay your editors, so you're probably losing money on YouTube. We'll get into that in a bit. If you start getting to like 1,000, you start making pretty good money. Bear in mind, this is before tax. Tax a little bit more as a contractor, but regardless, you still make pretty good money. You have the upside to make a lot of money. Now, this 10,000 view numbers obviously varies wildly, but I even looked at it. That's actually where I pulled this. He has like 5,000 subs. He has a contract with an esports org. He has a thriving YouTube channel. Like, he is making a lot of money. There's definitely the ability to be a millionaire if you make it to the top. I will say, though, and this is important, let me switch over for just a moment. If you're wondering, because we talked about making it is 0.66%, let's just talk about making to that 10,000 viewer mark. You might be thinking and seeing millions in the eyes, which is great. I mean, sure, dream big, think big, whatever. But let's talk about Stans. I do a lot of streams of Stans. Stans averaged 400 viewers this past month. Stans has about 700 subs. Stans is the top 0.06% of Twitch. Think about that. You don't think of Stans as a big streamer, but in reality, he is top 5,000 of 6.9 million. This is truly impressive if you get here. Truly. And I mean that. That is a big deal. And it is very hard to do. But this is more realistically your upside when you start streaming rather than a channel like mine or a channel like XQC's. I know I told you to write down your goals and dream big, but also just understand the math and the numbers. Stans is a top 0.06%. He's the top like 10% of the top 0.6%. And that's all the partners. So that's just something to keep in mind. He's the top 10% of all partner streamers. And that is a realistic goal to have. You should at this point have found out whether if you wrote things down, you are even cut out for step 2 or not. But if you did write things down and you did actually do what I told you to do, anyone can take advice from the second part. How do you stream? You already figured out that you do want to be a streamer, why you want to be a streamer, what your goals are as a streamer. How do you do it? How do you stream? Well, this is my one advice, my biggest advice. Streams are recordings. That's what it is in 2021. That is the best way you can think about a Twitch stream. Why? Well, let's think about a YouTube video. YouTube videos have some pros that normal streams, conventional streams don't. YouTube videos have built-in growth mechanics, all right? The algorithm. A YouTube video can pop off. A stream can't really pop off, you know? Like, you can go live and I, tomorrow, can buy a first edition booster box from Pokemon that cost me $400,000. And I can go live on a brand new channel and no one will see it. Literally no one. Because there's no way for you to know that that is happening and nobody is digging through the 5,000 zero viewer Andys, one viewer Andys on the just chatting section. So that's why Twitch fails in that aspect. YouTube doesn't. Also, YouTube is permanent. You upload a VOD on YouTube, a video, it stays there. Twitch, it's live, and then the VODs are up for 60 days and then they get deleted. And let's be real, even if they didn't get deleted, nobody goes through to find VODs. Not really. It doesn't really happen. It's just a fact that VODs are absolutely terrible on Twitch, and I don't see that changing. And so the permanence of a YouTube video means that even if it doesn't do well in the first month, maybe a month or two from now, you'll be able to look back and be like, oh, this video actually did well. You can't really do that with streams. For example, I did a stream the other day. I did the higher lower stream and it did okay. I had an okay number of viewers on Twitch. I had like 22K, but it didn't do that great. But my YouTube video has right now 560,000 views, which is 100,000 above average. The fact that it's permanent on YouTube lets me see that. If I only had Twitch, I would be like, oh, if I play higher or lower on stream, it's only okay content. No, it's better than okay. It's just that people didn't know it was happening or weren't live to watch or busy, whatever. It's harder to get viewers on Twitch in the moment, and it's bad to gauge success off of your live viewer count when it can be influenced by so many variables and be so Dogecoin-esque, if I can. Next, structured format is better content. This is general advice, but generally, YouTube videos are structured. I think we kind of know that. You know how a YouTube video generally goes. Yo, what's up, YouTube? Back here with another, you know the vibe. Twitch streams don't have structure inherently built in, which usually makes them a bit worse. Structure just allows you to have a very concise beginning, middle, end. And a very concise beginning, middle, end is usually better than just a hodgepodge of whatever the hell you're doing while live. And then finally, every YouTube video is a lottery ticket. Like I said earlier, if you upload a YouTube video, it has a chance to pop off. It really does. If you go live, you're never really gonna have that chance to blow up off of a stream. The only people I can think of that blew up off of a stream either were like collabing with somebody really big or came from a platform with a lot of viewers. Nobody just blew up out of nowhere overnight on Twitch. YouTube can happen overnight. I mean, literally overnight, you can blow up. And you've seen that time and time again. Dream literally was like a 10K Andy on YouTube at the start of 2020. He's doing pretty well. That would not happen if you only streamed. Admittedly, this whole thing was about how to stream, and we've only talked about YouTube videos. That's because it's time to start formatting your streams around your YouTube videos. So you have to stream for YouTube. Now, when I go live, I'll have segments, and that's how I think of it. I'll have segments for YouTube, and I'll stream those segments, and then I'll have like filler time in between, and then I'll have some things that aren't for YouTube. And that's fine, but you need to have some segments. Very roughly, they work like this. They'll have an introduction to the idea, to what the segment is while you're streaming. I'm going to give you an example of a YouTuber doing this because I think that this is probably the single best YouTuber, and they get a credit for a lot of other things, but they don't get a lot of credit for this at introductions. And that's, of course, Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, I think, is the best YouTuber at doing introductions. And even though we're talking about streaming, I take away, and you also can take away, how to do these intros on Twitch. Let's just take a look at this.
In this video, we are going to be eating $100,000 golden ice cream,
I'm blown away. This is so good.
$5,000 mac and cheese,
This mac and cheese is magnificent.
$30,000 banana Foster,
Ooh, that's incredible.
and so much more, starting off with $100 ice cream and working our way up.
That was 19 seconds top to bottom. And what did the introduction do? Let's talk about it. Let's break it down. It introduced the idea, the concept, what they're doing in the stream. All right, so explained it if you're going to be watching what's happening. 2, it introduced stakes. Stakes are an integral idea into every stream. You need stakes in whatever you do. It just makes it better. Stakes can be very small. It doesn't have to be the amount of money. That's the stakes for this one. All right, so the idea is we're going to be eating expensive foods. The stakes are that every food will increase in price. And then it also says how this will end. How does this whole journey come to a close? Well, it comes to a close when we eat $100,000 ice cream. That is how it closes. So then the video, you can expect that they'll start eating foods, the stakes increase. All right, there's more and more and more and more expensive things. It ends when they eat that ice cream. That's the entire thing. You can do the same thing on Twitch, and we do it all the time here on this channel. For example, we just did unbanned form speedruns. Okay, introduce the idea. We're doing unbanned forms, but we're speedrunning it. Okay, that's the concept. What are the stakes? Well, the stakes are we want a good time. We want to try to get world record. This costs no money, but those are the stakes, trying to get a good time. When do we get to the conclusion? When we beat the time and get the world record. Very simple, all right? And the meat and potatoes are me just doing the runs. Introduction says everything that's gonna happen. Conclusion is when I finally got the world record. Very easy, very straightforward. You don't necessarily need money, but you can create streams in segments that have all three of these aspects. And when you stream for YouTube, the beautiful thing about it is your stream is better, but also you get a YouTube video that is very easy to edit. You can just edit down because everything's built in, and you get to trim out all the fat until you have just this beautiful lean YouTube video that is the 20 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it is of gold of the 30-minute hour recording. So it's just a win-win-win. There's no losing here. And don't get me wrong, it is still fine to go live and do regular streams. I actually had a problem when I first started streaming where I would only do segments. I was like, if it's not a segment, it does worse on viewership. There's no point. I just need to do segments. Well, you can do both. And I've learned that. That's something I had to learn, and I had to deal with things like numbers going down and viewership being bad, and that's something that takes a bit of time. That's like a personal journey. You just have to one day get over it. There's nothing I can tell you. You just have to one day get over it. But I've learned that I can do segments, plan out segments, and then do like, I'll call it filler content. Think of XQC streams. Most of his content is like, it's not really formed around YouTube videos. It's mostly just filler content. And it's not bad. I'm not saying it's a bad way to stream. It's kind of fun in a way because he's always like thing to thing to thing. There's no dead air. It's like chess, bang, done chess, react, bang, react, done react, bang, we're playing Super Mario now, bang, done that, Valorant time. And none of these are really gonna be like really phenomenal YouTube videos. He streams like old streamers used to stream. I just don't think that'll work for people anymore because it's not 2013. The competition's too fierce. Your stream's probably not going to get found. You're probably not better than the good gamers at games. Probably not funnier than the funniest people at being funny. And even if you are, you have to be not as funny as Moon Moon. You have to be funnier than Moon Moon to get found because people already know who Moon Moon is. So rather than stream like XQC streams, stream for YouTube. And you can do both, but just remember to include segments. Just promise me you will not do the grinding, hustling, 9 to 5, putting in my 8 hours. Because that is all bullshit and a waste of your fucking time. You are literally doing nothing. It is not just going live that matters. It doesn't. Next, this is just one quick example. Which is a better video? Example of 2 streams. Now, no shots. Blastoise actually had more viewers here. This is Blastoise's stream, ranked Valorant with friends. And then Stan's is ranking favorite avatar clips. Okay. Which one probably transfers to a YouTube video better? Now we can ignore factors like copyright for now, just for this example. I just screenshotted 2 random streams I saw yesterday when I was making this slideshow. I think you guys would probably agree that Stan's makes a very natural YouTube video. Blastoise's is just kind of like a Valorant highlight for a guy who is okay at Valorant. And it's a great stream, maybe.
What you want? Are you ready? You know this is happening.
What is it? Something surprising?
It's a great stream, maybe he's having fun, but this will not help you grow. We can admit that. He probably won't grow unless he suddenly becomes radiant or has a lot of knowledge or is a really funny player in Valorant that is missing. Realistically, Stan's stream will have a video that will help him grow a little more. It's also important to form ideas, and this is an interesting concept, form ideas around titles. So if you have the title of what you're gonna do, you can form the idea around it. And that's kind of like all of Smallant's channel. So I think Smallant is a really excellent streamer on YouTube. But let's just take a look at his YouTube channel for a moment. All of these are just really interesting and engaging titles. I turn the floor in Mario Odyssey to lava. Pokemon Ruby, but all opponents have Wonder Guard. A Breath of the Wild YouTuber thought he was better than me. Can you beat Eventide Island without touching the ground? If you form a concept, a stream around just the title, you write your clickbait for you, you write your title for you, and the content will be very natural. It's a lot of work. He works really hard to beat all of this, but it's a good way to do it. So for example, if I want to beat Pogo Stuck upside down, I'm working with the title. I beat Pogo Stuck, but it was upside down. That's my title. That's what I'm working with. And then the content will write itself. So Smallant, great example of that. Great example of having titles, both in streams, because he streams all of this, by the way. He streams all of this that translate to good YouTube videos. All right, let's go next. The 3 ways to grow. Okay, 3 ways to grow. We've talked a bit about the middle one. We're going to go on it a little more, but let's start with collabs. Collaboration is probably one of the best ways to grow. I am not dumb. I am not oblivious to the fact that I have used Corpse, Technoblade, Sykkuno, Pokimane, you name it, and it's helped me grow. I mean, that's just a fact. If you collaborate with people, it helps you grow. And it needs to be in somewhat of in an authentic way. Obviously, if the content is worse when you work with someone, then it won't really go well together. But collabs just help. They really help. It's a thing. You can think as on the nose as when XJaws brought on Syndicate to his YouTube channel, and then Syndicate blew up into a larger YouTuber than XJaws. That's something that happened a few years ago. Or you can think of it as minute as an Among Us game where Yeti makes a brilliant play, and everyone's like, who's this Yeti Apocalypse guy? Like, yes, you also have to be good. You also have to have a good bedrock of content. It's not as easy as just streaming with someone. Because I promise you, I've streamed with a bunch of people in Among Us who have 15 viewers when we started and have 15 viewers now. But if you have some sort of skill, some bedrock of content that people can absorb the moment they see you and you're exposed, then you're going to do well. Does that make sense? You need to have something there ready. So let's think of the Mr. Beast Challenge 1 video. Mr. Beast did a challenge. He shouted out the channel of a winner. The idea was get this person 1 million subscribers. And it was a contest where you get the winner of the contest 1 million subs. And the guy who won was Zealous. Zealous is at 2 million subs. And the only reason he's there is because he had content that, one, was quite similar to Mr. Beast's, already there as a bedrock. If Mr. Beast shouted out a channel that had never posted a video, they're not going to go anywhere. And look no further than every time a big streamer hosts a 20-viewer Andy. You host a 20-viewer Andy, they're not ready for it, they don't have the content for it. You look back a month later, still a 20-viewer Andy. I remember so vividly Shroud saying that Twitch is a lottery, rating or hosting some random guy playing some, like, it was like Dead Cell or something. I forget exactly the game. And I looked back like 2 weeks later to see that guy's channel. Same number of viewers as before the Shroud raid. His content wasn't ready. It literally just wasn't ready. So collabs are good, but you need to have a bedrock of content to make them work. And they don't have to be with insanely large streamers. You can have a whole that's better than the sum of its parts when you work with other people. And that's totally fine as well. Doesn't have to be necessarily huge streamers. Also, one more note on collabs. Please don't be lazy about it. I get an email every day about someone saying, hey, can we do an interview? I have an interview where I interview big streamers. It doesn't, and maybe I'm wrong, feel like these people are all huge Larry King fans who love the art of the interview. It just feels like the easiest, most thoughtless way to interact with a large streamer so that you get some growth from it. Maybe I'm wrong, but that is the vibe that I get. And when you send an email out for that, that's all you do, it's lazy. It's not going to work. I promise you it's not going to do that much for you. The people who have really succeeded in collabs with larger streamers have done things, and bear in mind, all streamers are lazy, that the streamers really like, enjoy, and it's so, I promise you, painlessly free to interact with streamers. And just look no further than the Dr. Disrespect Alleyways song. That was made by a man called J+1. And you might be asking, well, who's that guy? Well, this is the guy who took a random clip of Doc singing while playing Warzone, I believe, called Give 'Em Love, and then made it into a fire song.
Orogel's leading formula helps you fight pain and immediately hit pause on that throbbing toothache with the #1
Put it on Doc's subreddit. I think he actually might have donated. And then all of a sudden, Doc loves it. And when Doc wants a song, he's like, well, I'm hitting up J+1. Same thing's happened to me with ex-girlfriend, with my editor Polite, with people who I've played Among Us with. Think Otto. I mean, Otto, that motherfucker leached his way in, but he had something to offer of value. He actually was a godlike programmer who could make things that were valuable. I used Otto. I needed Otto for content. Otto's great. And now he has like 500 plus viewers. That's great. He didn't send me an email saying, hey, Ludwig, I make programs. He made a program for me and put it on my subreddit. So make something. Put it on the subreddit. Donate with a link, whatever it is. There's 1,000 examples of this working. It can work again. That's how you collab with someone big, or you can just collab with someone smaller and more your size, and that is also easier as well. that make sense? Next, outside traction. Look, I think conventionally everyone knows, like, hey, you gotta be posting on YouTube and TikTok and Twitter. And that's great. And that is true. That is all true. Twitch does not have really good growth mechanisms. These other sites do. You can bring viewers from those sites over to Twitch to stream or wherever you want to stream. It can also mean getting outside traction from a community. You don't just have to post to the void of YouTube and hope that some people find it. I was a part of the Super Smash Bros. Melee community. In a very genuine way, it's my favorite game of all time. I made a lot of friends from it, and I made content for it. And it is a lot easier, I promise you, to get noticed in a community that small when I post on their subreddit a YouTube video I made and get traction that way, than to just post on the YouTubes. That is a lot harder. I promise you that is a lot harder. So if you have a community you're in, and it does have to be authentic, right? You can't, people are smart. Like, people are smart. People can tell very quickly when you're inauthentic or like clout chasing, and they'll call you out for it, and it'll be a mess. It won't be worth the time. But if you're in a community in an authentic way, you can make content for it. You can grow within that community. And then after doing that, expand that to something else. Variety streaming, whatever it is. You know what I mean? A lot of people you like blew up parts of smaller communities. Moon's name is Moon Overwatch, XQC Overwatch. Without that Overwatch community, they don't make it to where they are today, right? They needed that community as a foothold. Me, with Smash. Minecraft speedrunning. Sure, it's a larger community, but still, without that speedrunning community, I don't know if Dream makes it where he makes it today. He didn't know how to be that good at the game. Maybe he doesn't. I don't think he does. So you just have to think of it as outside traction, not just posting on these outside sites, but trying to find smaller communities or being part of them in authentic ways, offering value, making videos, being a part of it, and growing within there. And then maybe you can grow on, let's just call it mainstream. And finally, the last way to grow are big events, okay? Big events. If you do something big, if you hype it up enough, if you open a first edition base set box and you let people know, I mean, obviously you have to do some marketing, it'll blow up. Maybe not on the stream, but on YouTube it will. If you post a YouTube video of you opening a first edition box of Pokemon cards for $400,000 and then burn the cards after, if that's your YouTube video, which is fair enough, your money, it will blow up. It will. That's just a fact. Really good content comes above all else. And I think Mr. Beast is a big believer in that. And it's true. And you can think of every video he does as a big event. And the same thing can happen on stream. It just requires a little bit more marketing. And maybe this is something more valuable for someone with like 50, 100 viewers. You can hype things up. But I've done a bunch of big events. You know, Pokemon Week, we hyped that up for a while, long time. I set all of that up. I reached out to all the streamers. I hooked them up with all the boxes. I set up the days for it. I made the marketing. I made the YouTube videos for it. And I hit 100,000 viewers on Twitch. I have never been close to that milestone before then. My most was like 60,000 with the host, 40,000 without. And I over doubled it because I did a big event. Big events will help you grow. I know you got to focus on the day-to-day, but you can't get lost in the day-to-day and not do these large events. You got to spice things up. You got to make sure that you're always innovating, trying to do big things. So big events are important. Hosts and raids are fickle, and I don't want you to think of them as growth mechanisms because they rarely, if ever, are. And I think people overvalue them in a major, major way. So now we know how to grow. We know that you want to stream, why you want to stream, what your goals are for stream, how to stream. Now we have to think of ideas that work for you. I'm giving you examples of my life, of Mr. Beast, of Small Ant, but maybe those don't work for you. And a lot of ideas that we do won't work for you. It's just a fact that you will not likely, and maybe I'm wrong, have a relationship with Technoblade to stream with him. That is probably just the case. You probably just won't be able to do that. You probably don't have $30,000 to spend on Pokemon cards or whatever big Mr. Beast cost thing he does. You probably don't. But you can spend that time thinking of ideas that do work. And I cannot tell you how many times I look at my DMs and I see someone who thinks an idea that would work if they only had X money, X number of viewers, 5K viewers, if they're friends with me, if they're friends with Corpse, whatever. And that's fine. That's great. Great idea. You get there to do it. But you're not there. So why are you wasting your time thinking of videos, streams that you will never be able to do? That is a waste of time. That is fantasy. That is not strategy. Think of things that work for you. And there are things that exist. I made money by donating to streamers. This is one of my favorite things. I've thought of this idea where I would donate to streamers, have them go to a website where I made merch and then see if I could get merch sales. I thought of this idea. I immediately went to record it. It took me 2 hours top to bottom. I finished it. It was edited. It was uploaded like a couple days later, and it has almost 1 million views on YouTube. It's one of my favorite videos. You know how much it cost me? $48. That is it. $48 in 2 hours. And it has almost 1 million views. Anybody could have done this video. It's $48, but that's less than the price of a video game. I'm sure that if you just saved up, if you're tight for money, you could have made it happen too. Or done it for even less if you really want. This video is one of my proudest videos. And I know it's not a stream necessarily, but this still does bring up the issue that you need to solve, thinking of ideas that you can do. Does that make sense? There's a lot of videos that you can do. So when you're thinking of your 3 to 5 streams, all right? Don't look at what you can't do from their video. Look at what you can do. If you look at what you can't do, you're never going to be able to make content for yourself. You'll only be thinking of content for other people, which is a waste of time. Total waste of time. That's just as bad as me imagining what I would do if I was in the Super Bowl. I was in Tom Brady's shoes. I'd throw a Hail Mary. That's what I would do. Mom, you should do that. Doesn't make any goddamn sense. I'm not going to be in the Super Bowl. Next. We've thought of ideas that work for you, how to do them, but what do you stream? This is a very basic question that people always ask. It's maybe the #1 question. What do you stream, Ludwig? Okay, good question. What do you stream? Sure. Okay, let's talk about it. I first and foremost think this question is probably talked about too much, because as long as you are doing everything in these streams like recordings section, then what you stream isn't as important. You know what I mean? Because you can really make anything work. There is one thing that I've done that will always work. It's tried and true. This is the #1 thing you need to stream to make it big. The yoink and twist, baby. What everybody else is doing. That's right. Yes, you do not have to rewrite the entire playbook. We do not need a New Testament. We're good. Jesus got it down the first time. Yoink and twist. Look, I'm not saying to carbon copy, because people notice, people will make fun of you. You can't just do it one-to-one, because honestly, you won't do it as good most of the time anyway. You can yoink and twist. So I saw, here's one example, this video Soda Poppin did a few years ago. When Stream goes shopping for $1,000, you know what he would do in this video? It was a stream that he made a video. He would have people send him links, and he would click on them, and he would either buy them or not buy them. It was totally his decision. He was like, oh, this is funny, I'll buy it, or oh, this isn't funny, I'm not gonna buy it. That was it. And I was like, that's interesting. But what if I did that and I had chat vote? That might be kind of funnier if chat is the one who votes. That way I literally have no say. It adds a little bit more stakes. It gets chat a little bit more involved, and it allows for, like, I think a little bit cooler of an experience. Then I saw this Mr. Beast video. I gave my credit card to random people. And I thought, well, I'm doing this Amazon stream, but in reality, what I'm doing is, since I'm letting them vote, I'm kind of just giving my credit card to stream. So I saw this thumbnail. I kind of made my own version for my content that was originally based off a video I saw Soda Poppin make. And so you add both of those together and you get, I gave my credit card to stream. And that's it. And that's it. And that's the total entire idea of how I came up with this video. And the video did pretty well for me. 557,000 views is well above average. That's a good amount of views for me. It certainly didn't beat the originals, which is why you can't be a carbon copy anyway, because you do cap yourself at a ceiling. So you have to pull from a lot of people. And this is fine to do. Maybe it feels scummy or bad, but I promise you that there is very little to no originality in streaming or YouTube. Mizkif is swapping his unbanned forms with Maya today. Wow, that's a really good idea, Mizkif. I like it a lot. Let's just go ahead and take a look at a video I made a couple of days ago. Oh, I swapped streams with Cutie Cinderella. Oh, interesting. Oh, it was unbanned forms. Huh, interesting. That's fine. I don't have any claim over it, all right? But at the end of the day, if you are the first to it, you will probably be more successful. If they don't add their own twist, they are capped to what they pulled from. That's just how it works. You have to add your own twist